Dave, I loved Knock at the Cabin.
I love Comicbook.com.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you for that. The first reactions and the reviews for Knock at the Cabin are all really good. And M. Night Shyamalan is out doing interviews with Chris Killian at Comic Book praising your work. I would love to start by hearing how it feels to see these words being said about you. Do you pay attention to the crowd noise in this moment?
I try not to. Yeah, I try not to, because I know there's going to be some negative that will come with the positive. And also, like, I don't know. It's just, I just try not to get wrapped up into it, I appreciate it. It's weird because there's part of me that I try not to get wrapped up in it, but I also don't want people to think I'm unappreciative. So it's kind of a struggle. It's an inner struggle.
I find that I mentioned crowd noise. I know in wrestling, when you're performing, you can pay attention to the crowd noise as feedback. Should I keep doing what I'm doing? Should I do less of what I'm doing? When you're on set, you don't have that crowd noise telling you what to do to validate kind of a performance. Where do you look as an actor to know this is going well, or I need to change this?
The director.
So what kind of feedback did that give you?
And it's weird because sometimes it's it's always a different situation. It's always a different experience. But with Knight, with this role, because it was a difficult role, and Knight is always he's also very specific about what he wants. So it's constantly trying to, have the conversation with him and relying on him, because there was very much an inner struggle with the performance of Leonard, because he was so multi-layered, and I just wanted to make sure this was right. And we also had the pressure of, being on one camera on film. So, and like all this dialogue, and it was just really tough. So anyway, that was who I looked towards. It was Night. Constantly conversations, long, lengthy conversations.
As terrifying as Leonard's mission is, and kind of, I guess, you'd think something like this would be so mean of a message to deliver that he has to deliver and Knock at the Cabin, but he brings so much heart to the film. You bring a lot of heart to the film as Leonard. Do you find yourself pulling from anything personal to add that kind of heart to a character who is tasked with such a difficult mission?
Not so much towards the character, but definitely towards specific emotions. This was a real struggle for me, because a lot of times with what's written on page, and I felt like emotionally it should be at a certain place. And Knight was constantly reminding me that, emotionally that you probably feel that way, but you also have to remember that Leonard has this massive responsibility on his shoulders, and he needs to feel like he is always in control. So a lot of times when you're feeling these emotions, you have to hide these emotions and play it this way. So go to your mark and, and do it that way.
Yeah, that's cool. I heard he also put some 5-minute takes. You guys were doing 10 pages in a take.
God, yeah.
What was that like?
It was a nightmare.
You just showed up like
it was a nightmare.
Who was calling line the most?
And that's what I mean. It was I talk about pressure. I always try to say no pressure. Oh, there's no pressure at all. But it was these massive chunks of monologues, and Knight was doing so many one-shots with one camera on film, and nobody wants to waste film because it's expensive.
Yeah.
So it's everybody had to really be on point and be prepared. But no, there weren't a lot of that. There wasn't a lot of that, line. If it was ever, it was probably from me, and it was only because Knight doesn't give you a whole lot of freedom as far as improv, and I'm an improv person.
That's fair.
But he was like, stay on that page.
Dude, you did such a great job. You guys all were really great performances. I'm going to save the Guardians questions for Guardians. My last question I had out, your boy James Gunn, he just went over to D.C. Yeah. Have you talked at all about, I know he wants to bring some familiar faces. Would you ever talk with him about that? Joining him?
I would talk to him about that, but I haven't. No, I haven't. And I definitely didn't want to be that guy. I was afraid of being that guy. I didn't want to be the guy that calling him up and say, hey, congratulations. Now that you're at D.C., so what's, I was afraid that he would think that that's what that call was about. And obviously he knows I'm happy. I have talked to him since then, but it was really concerning Guardians 3. And, I won't bring up D.C. If there's something he's interested in me for over there, I'm sure he'll let me know. But otherwise, my career's gone okay.
Dude, I'm happy for you.
And more than anything, he's a friend, and he's someone I love. So I don't, I don't expect to get a call, and I'm not expecting a part. And but I would love to be a part of the DC universe.
Hell yeah, man.
But if the call comes, it comes.